Okay, get yourself ready for your restorative practice. So get a blanket, just to place that over the top of your mat, and then get a bolster for underneath your knees. Have a couple of blocks for underneath your feet, and a blanket, a folded blanket for your head. So just setting yourself up for your basic relaxation pose, which is just a really pleasant way to start our practice. Just giving yourself support on the floor. If you've got something to cover your eyes with, then have that over your eyes. So an eye pillow is just a nice addition to your practice, just so that you can work in darkness, which just helps you to relax. So this practice is all about finding quietness and relaxation, which just gives you a sense of relief from any tensions in the body, and it allows you to replenish and recuperate your energy. So if you've had a tiring day, and this is your opportunity to just let go and just let go and release. So just feel how your physical body connects to the ground, how the bolster feels underneath your knees, how the blocks feel underneath your feet, how the shoulders and the arms feel connected to the ground, how the neck and the head feels in connection with the blanket. If there's discomfort, then consciously allow the out breath to move into areas of discomfort, or adjust your position until you feel comfortable. Never feeling that you can't move within a restorative yoga pose. So allow yourself to observe the feeling of the pose and adjust accordingly. Observe how your back feels in connection with the ground, how the straight line of the floor protects the spine, keeping the spine straight and long. If there are perceivable discomforts within the physical body, then adjust your pose so that you can relax. Allow your body to relax into the floor. Just scanning the body for areas of discomfort and pushing your out breath into areas of discomfort to open up your energy, to bring consciousness into the physical body. Observe how the floor supports your body, how the bolster and blocks support the legs. Draw your attention into the soles of your feet. So that the underside of the foot tingles with consciousness. Draw your attention into the soles of the feet so that they tingle with consciousness. And then consciously relax the sole of the foot. Draw your consciousness into the soles of your feet and consciously relax the soles of the feet. Draw your attention to the tops of your feet. Just allowing the skin to become conscious, spreading across the whole of the foot. Draw your consciousness to the tops of your feet and then consciously relax the top of the foot to match the bottom of the foot. Allowing the feet to become heavy with each relaxation. Draw your consciousness into your shins. Feeling the skin around the fronts of the shins just come into attention. Draw your attention into your shins and relax the shins, allowing the shin bone to sink into the calf muscle. Draw your attention into your kneecaps and into your thighs, and consciously soften your kneecaps. Draw the fronts of the thighs into the thigh bone, just softening and releasing tension from the thighs. Just allowing the fronts of the thighs to sink into the backs of the thighs, the fronts of the shins to sink into the backs of the calf muscles. Relaxing the muscles of the legs so that the legs become heavy. Allow the pelvis to sink into the floor, letting go of any tension around the pelvis and softening the area around the abdomen, and allowing that softness to rise up into the heart region, spreading out into the shoulders and into the head and into the body. Softening the abdomen and the rib cage and the shoulders into the floor, and releasing your arms. Letting the arms become heavy on the floor so that that feeling of lightness radiates out from the bones of the arms and into the chest. Just releasing your arms, letting the arms rest into the floor. Just allowing the body to become heavy on the floor, and just enjoying that feeling of release as you unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs, and allow your brain to quieten. Just floating in a feeling of energetic lightness, rising from the toes and up into the pelvis, into the abdomen, into the diaphragm region, into the ribs, spreading out into the arms, into the tip toes. Releasing the neck and the shoulders, and allowing the skin around the face to soften. Deep inhalations and then release into the floor with the exhalations. Just observe how your energy has changed from just remaining in the same position, permitting energy to flow. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes and wriggle your fingers. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto your bolster and have your knees together. Just take the eye pillow off if you're still wearing it, just to relax your eyes for a second. And then just roll onto your right side and then stretch out the top leg and come back up into the cross leg position. So just sitting in cross legs, just observing your energy. Okay, so we're just going to do a pose that just stretches out a bad back. So as you know, I did my back in last week. It just kind of went of its own accord, and so this pose will just kind of help to stretch it out. So you get a bolster, or you can use cushions if you need to. Just get a bolster, and then you just bring your hip onto the bolster, and then you come down onto the floor. You can have a blanket for your head, or you can just go your head directly on the floor. We're not going to stay very long, but you just come along your side, just stretch your arms out and stretch your legs out. So the hip is just on the bolster and you stretch out. So it looks quite uncomfortable, but actually it's really comfortable. You can just let the top leg just sit behind the bottom leg, or you can keep the legs together. So we're not going to stay for very long, but it's a really nice way to just stretch out the hips, stretch out the back. So just hold the hands together, just stretch the arms away. And then just release, relaxing into the pose. We're not going to stay very long. It's just a way to stretch out the back. So as you know, as we progress through the sequence, I'll speak less and less just so that you can be in the pose, just focusing on relaxation rather than listening. Of course, I'll always point something out if it needs correcting, or if there's a special technique you need to use. So remember, if the pose feels wrong for you, then just come out of the pose, do a different pose. Do something that's not going to aggravate an injury. So you can always go back to the basic relaxation pose at any time if you need to. And then to come out of the pose, just roll onto your front on the bolster. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then just sit yourself up. And then we're going to just go on to the other side. So just the same pose, just rest your hip on the bolster on the other side and then just stretch yourself out. So again, as I said, it probably looks quite uncomfortable, but actually it's a really good way to stretch out your back. I don't think my back was ready to do this last week, but it's a good back stretching pose. So it's a side stretch, side lying pose. So just releasing into this basic shape, helping to release the tension in the spine, in the lower back. Okay, and then to come out of the pose, just roll onto your front, have your elbows underneath your shoulders, and then push yourself up into just a seated position, just sitting back on your heels for a moment, just observing your energy. Just observing how your energy has changed from how you're feeling at the beginning of the session. So we're going to do the restorative pigeon pose. So keep your, if you've got two bolsters, it's good for this. So have one bolster for your hip, and then you've got another bolster for your body. So you're just going to bring your knee forwards like this, then come down onto your hands, and then let that foot just slide over to, so if it's the right foot, it slides over to the left side. And then you just stretch yourself along your bolster, have your elbows just resting on the floor, and then just guide yourself down. So I'll just show you that again. So you've got one bolster this way, the other bolster kind of that way. So it's like a kind of a detached letter T. Then come onto your knees, bring your right knee forwards, so it's in front of the front bolster. And then come down onto your hands and then slide that right knee over to the left side. No, the other way, the other way. So if you have your right knee underneath your right foot underneath your right knee, then walk that right foot over to the left side of the mat. That's it, yeah. And then you bring that knee down, and then you lengthen along your bolster. So again, just a good way to just release tension and reduce pain in the lower back. So again, we're all different. We just need different things. But this can help to, I can really feel it kind of giving me space in the area where my back was injured. If the bolster feels too low for the body, then you can just put a folded blanket on top of the bolster, so you're a bit higher up. Have your elbows wide enough apart so that you're not supporting your body with your body weight with your arms. Just resting into the floor. Just releasing into the floor. Just resting your face on one side, preferably in the same direction that your knee is pointing towards. You can just adjust, just feeling that you can release into the bolsters. Okay, to come out of the pose, just bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then push yourself up. And then you might want to bend your straight leg, bring it to the side of the bolster, and then just sit with the bolster between your two knees for a moment, just letting the hips recover. And then we'll do the other side. So sitting in front of the first bolster, bring your left knee forward so that the left foot is underneath the left knee, and then just walk that foot over to the right side of the, that's it, and then just come down, bend that knee out to the side, and then just lengthen yourself along the bolster, resting your head on the other side. So again, this is a really good way just to soften out back pain. Okay, just push your hands into the floor. Just lift yourself up. And then bring the straight leg forwards so that it's either side of the bolster. And then just sit back on your bolster. Just observing your energy. Just feeling space around your back. And then just for the last couple of minutes, we'll just come back into our basic relaxation pose, the pose that we began in. So have a blanket for your head, bolster for underneath your knees, and then just release yourself down onto the floor. And allow yourself to let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs, unhooking the muscles. So that the physical body becomes heavy on the floor. And from that heaviness, perhaps you identify a lightness that radiates out from the bones into the muscles and the organs. Just bringing good positive energy into the muscles and into the organs. Using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness down into the tips of the toes, into the tips of the fingers, and into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster. Just have your knees together, your feet apart a little, just allowing your back to rest into the floor. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little gentle massage, a grounding massage, just bringing yourself back into the physical body, into the back, bring yourself back into the room. And then roll onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift, drawing your breath in through your nose, down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice. Receiving that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy. The extensions and the release, relaxation poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And send that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward the knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel like you really stretched out your back a little and released any tension from your back. So thank you very much for joining me.